What's up, LinkedIn? Another video. So for this video, I want to discuss the importance of having a study. So what is a study? Why do we need it? And why should we even care? Why not just eat Cheetos and freaking just do nothing, right? Why not? Like, why the hell not? So, why should we even care? What the hell is the point? So the point of a study is it's meant to develop your character, virtue, and actions. So you're probably wondering, you're probably saying, Drew, that's immaterial, and that's like what is that? Okay, so character is separate from personality. I want to make that distinction very clearly. Your personality and character are not the same thing. Your personality is what you are born with. Your character, that's what you develop through your hard work and discipline and grit and determination. Personality traits can be learned. Okay, so if you're type B personality and you're lazy and you don't like your personality, you can change that, but you have to bust your ass. And you can be part A personality if you wish, which is obviously more achieving personality. And if you're type A, you can be type B, vice versa. Okay, so a study is pretty much your college away from college, pretty much. And if you want to notice one thing, is that most successful people, they have a study. Bill Gates has a big freaking library. Theodore Roosevelt, you already know, he had 10,000 books. Alexander Hamilton, 6,000. Who else? Abraham Lincoln, a big reader. Of course, George Washington had his own library, except he wasn't as educated as the others, but he made up for it through books, okay? So, I want to be successful. You want to be successful. If you want wealth, you want to copy the people that do those things. So whatever they do, you should do. If they make videos, you make videos. If they make content, you make content, etc. It doesn't matter. But the point being is that they have libraries, okay? So college is really, it's only one tiny factor of your life. It's not, it's such an insignificant point in your existence. If you believe like college is the highlight of your life, then you're limiting yourself. You're limiting your experiences and what you believe yourself to believe. College is only one aspect of sorry, I have to put this down. 1 second, guys. I know. I'm not the best video maker in the world. It's a process, right? But, my train of thought. So, college is only one aspect of your own life, if you really look at it. I mean, the most effective education is self-education. So if you want to be an autodidact, it's a self-learner, which is what you should be, especially in this century and era. You should be one of those people. You should be. But this condition of only college is just you're limiting yourself, because I mean, if by the time I'm done, I'll be 28, 29. By the time I'm done with all my education, I still have another 40 years, 50 if maybe, and that's very limiting. Why should I limit myself to what the schools teach? Who cares? You know, I wanna learn more. I wanna grow more. I wanna be more than just this freaking self-imposed constraint upon society. Remember, like you always look into my videos, I talk about breaking boxes, breaking walls down. In all my videos, I'm all about breaking walls. What do entrepreneurs do? They break boxes, they break walls. That's what they do. That's what you need to do, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and state 3 factors on the importance of having a self-study, okay? First things first, with your self-study, use it have 2 books of development. One for pleasure, one for developmental purposes. Okay, so I'll give you a real example so you know that I'm not like being a hypocrite here. I'm actually spouting. I'm actually doing what I'm spouting. So I'm not just a talker. Okay, here it is. Real book. Reading it right now takes a while, as you can tell. But not the point. This is my study book. I study this because it's practical to me. I want to read the Federalist Papers. Why? Because it teaches me about politics. I'm a political science major, and I want to learn about libertarianism and obviously constitutionalism. So that gives me a practical knowledge. It embodies what I see in myself. So your self-improvement book should be a book by which that should extend your own knowledge, and it should be practically useful. It shouldn't be some useless thing that you'll never use. You want to avoid useless knowledge, especially this is what Theodore Roosevelt teaches us. He believes in the application of knowledge, and that's what we should learn. If you're learning something, it should lead to a result, not just you doing nothing. That's a waste of time. If you're a knowledge hoarder like I used to be, you're being selfish and you're not sharing your glory with the world. Why not share it and make more money? So first book, have something practical. It doesn't matter what it is. If you want to learn to sew, learn to sew. You want to learn to write, doesn't matter. But this is where you sharpen your freaking sword. This is where you get a big sword, you hammer it down, and you develop that goddamn sword. That sword's going to kill some dragons. You're going to cut their heads off. You're going to eat the dragons, okay? If you're a lion, then you're going to kill some gazelle, some deer, some bison. I like bison. Bison's good. So that's what's meant to sharpen your sword. I'm going to shorten this video because I got to do some other things right now. Second book, just for pleasure, anything you want. Second factor I would say is use your study to develop the art of delayed gratification. Delaying of gratification is the second most important factor besides consistency. Delay of gratification is to delay your gratification of now to the future. It teaches you to purposely deny yourself. So you're wondering, what do you mean, Drew? How does learning something in a self-study teach you self-gratification? Well, it's not so evident, but it is evident. If you look at all the glorious people in the world, the ones that are being remembered, they're long-term thinkers. They're not short-term thinkers. If you're short-term thinking, you ain't going to get far. You're going to get eaten. You're going to get beaten out strategically. Theodore Roosevelt, long-term thinker. Alexander the Great, long-term thinker. Look at all of them. All the glorious ones remembered forever in history. This is my own bias projecting. I don't care. They have a capability of mastering thyself. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, I'm getting them, connecting it now. So the connecting of the idea to you so you understand is that delay of gratification in the sense that you should pursue a pleasure, a long-term pleasure. So what is the difference between a long-term pleasure and a short-term pleasure? A long-term pleasure is reading a book, for example. I've been on the Federalist Papers for maybe 2 weeks. I've been taking my time with it. I'm not really in a rush to finish it. What's the rush? I want to learn it well. So when someone asks me something, I know what I'm talking about. And maybe I'll reread the book 2 or 3 times. Or 4 times, maybe 5 times, because maybe I don't understand all of it. Reading it once isn't sufficient. You need to do it more than 1 time. You need to do it 2 or 3 times, 4 or 10 times. Learn how to draw. Hell, learn how to draw. Maybe the first time you hate drawing and you're not consistent with it, but if you just keep doing it, and then you'll get better at drawing, and then you're better at drawing, So it's like, and you derive pleasure through the process of learning. Learning is, if you're able to derive pleasure from learning, then you will derive pleasure from life. That's what life is about. Life is about learning. It's not about eating chips and just like playing video games and this short gratification bullcrap. Instant gratification is like McDonald's. You're going to get fat and you're going to die of a heart attack. You want to freaking develop nobility of learning. Making chess, I mean, I don't do chess anymore. I feel it's a waste of time, and I'm not good enough for it anyways. But develop your hobby Okay, so the distinction I make between the first one is 2 books. One for practical knowledge in the real world. The second one is to pursue a higher pleasure, an exclusion of the bodily, in exclusion of the body. Okay. The final factor is I'm all obsessed with character. You're probably wondering what the hell is character. Character is about having a nobility of your own personality. It's developing your own personality into what you want it to be, okay? I make my own choices. I make my own goddamn decision. I am the person that becomes who I want to become. Okay? Not what society tells to be. Not what society tells you to be. You become what you want to be. So what does this have to do with the self-study? A self-study, or your study, is where you pursue the higher forms of living in order to develop virtue. Okay? Theodore Roosevelt, very virtuous human being. He believed in perseverance. He believed in willpower. He believes in character. He believes in prosperity. He believes in vigor, another virtue, figuratively and literally living it. And what is the practical aspect that I'm talking about? If it's not practical, it's useless, is what I said. So what does Theodore do? Screw what I think. If you don't believe me, believe Theodore Roosevelt. What does he do that makes his life, how is he developing his own character? Well, as you look in the Strenuous Life, he teaches us that he learns about birds. He wants to be the best goddamn zoologist in the world, not because he cares about the money, but because he wants to develop his strenuous life. He wants to grow beyond his own bounds and become the most perfect human being he could possibly be. And obviously he's far from perfect, but he's doing things that augment him. Like I do with dance. I dance because it aligns with what I see within myself. I see myself as a changer, an influencer. I see myself as a person projecting upon the world my ideas, my visions. That's my beliefs. And that's why I do dance. Because I want to learn about people, new things. And dance is a sandbox. It has no box. It breaks every freaking box. Just when you believe you've encapsulated dance, you thought wrong. You're not even close. So find what character you want to develop within yourself. Do you want to be persistent as hell? Be persistent as hell. You want to be hard-headed? Be hard-headed. It doesn't matter. You choose what nobility you wish to seek, and that's what will lead you to your success. Because you will be the one person that won't take that $100 bill on the ground. You will give it back. Against your own self-interest, against the obvious decision, against what is obvious. The obvious answer is not necessarily the noble answer. What is honorable? What is honor? To live a life of priority, of dedication, without evident pleasure. And then that's how a self-study, it builds your character. And you learn to deny your own pleasure. Deny your pleasure again and again and again. Keep denying it. Don't experience pleasure. Develop the process of feeling pleasure is the difference. I'm quickly learning this. So use your study well, and just remember, just be a lifelong learner. And I don't have anything else to say. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. If you have any suggestions how I can improve the video, I'm open to that as well. Thank you, Lincoln and YouTube, for this opportunity and time, and have a good day.